Hey guys, Ray here, welcome to the channel. So today we are wiring this transfer switch to my home electrical panel. So this is going to allow me to run my house either on solar or on grid. So this is what I'm going to be using to integrate my future solar power system into running my house electrical panel. And I'll show you why I'm not going with the interlock kit and also why I'm not going with the critical load sub panel. So let's go ahead and wire this up. After I have it all wired into my house, I'll briefly show how I'm going to hook this into my solar power system. It's going to always be running on solar to save me money on my power bill, even when the sun is not out. So if you know anyone that will like this video or will find it helpful for the house, go ahead and share that with them. Also, this is a DIY solar channel, so I do have multiple different DIY solar power systems in the description and distributors, and I have discount codes with them. And so if you use any of those links or use the discount codes, that will help support the channel, and that's much appreciated. Okay, this is what we're going to be working with here. So I picked up this 12-inch by 12-inch wire gutter from a local supply house. It's 4 to 8 inches long, and I have my batteries here that I've connected. I've just drilled a hole here, and then I used my jigsaw to cut this out. And I have my solar wires coming in here. They're just taped out of the way for now. But those solar wires come into the attic and then come down here, go in the ground, and then they run out to like a future solar array that I'm going to put out here in this shed, possibly. But they also run out to this solar array that I installed. Got this from Santan Solar. These are like 550 watt solar panels. They're brand new and I've liked them a lot. But if you want to see a video of me connecting these solar panels into my house with the previous power system I had installed on my house, I have a full video on that, and I'll put a link up near the top here. But this new system that I have, it's going to be pretty nice. The old system had an interlock kit. So basically you had to turn off the power to the house, and then you were able to flip the back fed breaker. And then I was able to supply power to my electrical panel by backfeeding the breaker. This is where my load sends power through here, and it goes into this breaker. The only problem with an interlock kit is you have to have one of these breakers right here to make sure you're not backfeeding and energizing the grid when the linemen are working on the power lines. With a backfed breaker, you're also limited to the amount of power you can feed through the breaker you're putting in place. So a better option is to just always feed power through the top of your electrical panel or the main feeds of your electrical panel, whether they're on the top or the bottom. And that is where this guy comes into place. So this is going to be running my entire house on solar or grid. I don't want to worry about the complications of, switching over some of the breakers onto a critical load sub panel. I just want to run my entire house. Say there's an emergency and I only need to run certain loads, I can turn everything off and only turn the critical loads on in case of an emergency. All right, so let's go ahead and install it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off power to the entire house, and I'm going to do that through my 100 amp shutoff switch here. Now if you don't have a shutoff switch, you can call your utility company and they can shut off power before your meter here. I am going to be working on my main house electrical panel, and this is very dangerous. So if you don't feel comfortable with any of these steps, do not do this at home and call an electrician. If you are a do-it-yourself person, it's a great idea to always call an electrician, have him double check any of the work that you do. So now that I have the power off, I'm going to go ahead and disconnect these main 3 lugs and extend them. So when I had my electrician install my new electrical panel, he had to extend the leads already, and he used these Polaris connectors. I think Polaris is the brand, but these ones are Burndy. You can get some cheap ones on Amazon, but it's probably best just to go to your supply house and buy some of these. For a previous solar build, I stripped the insulation off this wire, and then I was able to slide this connector up into place, and then I was able to screw it down. So this is going to be my Polaris connector that I'm going to use, and I'm just going to cap these off here. Okay, here I've confirmed that the power is off before I touch any of this, and I'm just going to disconnect the feeds here. Now as I disconnect them, right when I disconnect them, I'm putting a wire nut on there Probably should have taped the wire nut on there, but I taped them all at the end. But it's good to just do one at a time, take one off, tape it, and then move on to the next one so you don't have wires hanging around, large conductors. Now, even though the power is off, it's just good practice not to have wires hanging around that are uncapped. Okay, so here I am preparing my non-metallic conduit. Now this is 1 inch conduit, but I probably should have went with 1.5 inches or 1.25 inches because this was actually pretty tight, putting these 2 gauge wire conductors in there. Now, if you notice, I have a 200 amp panel with tons of breakers on here. And if you notice, the conductors leading into this panel are actually 2 gauge. That is because I have 100 amp service outside. So I'm not going to be running 200 amps into this panel. And so I have a 100 amp double pole breaker outside at my service. So I shouldn't ever get more than 100 amps. When I had my electrician install this brand new panel for me, I'm happy that he put a 200 amp panel in because I have a lot of different slots. Now during the summer, when I'm running the air conditioner and I have tenants downstairs and they have an electric oven and they also have an electric clothes dryer, and we have a 3-ton air conditioner that we share. Now, yeah, during the summer when all those things are running, I've never seen it go over 50 amps. So even though you do have a 200 amp panel, or 200 amp service at your house, a lot of people do, especially with the new houses, you're probably not even coming close to using 200 amps. So if you do have a 200 amp service, it's going to be a lot more difficult to install this because you're going to be working with a lot thicker wire. Now, if you can convert your service down to 100 amps, that would make it a lot easier for you because this is 2 gauge wire. Even though it's 2 gauge wire, it is fairly difficult to work with, a lot more difficult than I thought. It's a little bit hard to see what I'm doing here, but my Polaris connector has 3 ports, and I'm just going to not touch the port that already has the wire, but I'm just going to open up another one of those ports and then slide the wire feeds into that extra port, and then I'll be able to extend this down into my breaker switch that you'll see here shortly. I'm adding anti-aux onto the wire as well before I put them into, before I crank everything down. Also, one thing you'll want to do if you do this is you want to, after you crank it down, there's also torque settings on there. You'll want to move it back and forth, the wire back and forth. That'll let the wire strands settle into place, and then you'll be able to get a few more cranks on there. Okay, here I have a step drill bit that I need to use to start the hole for my knockout kit. This is the knockout kit I purchased online. This was actually pretty affordable. I was under $100. I'll put a link in the description to this kit. It goes up to 2 inches. Here is the distribution block I'm going to be using. That's right, I'm not going to be connecting this utility grid directly into the switch. I'm going to use this distribution block. Here's the specifications on the distribution block. I picked this up from my local supply house, Codale Electric. So I am going to have the grid connections go into these holes, and then I will be using the distribution block to distribute this grid out to multiple locations, which I'll describe at the end. But right now I'm just going to connect it in place just on the single port side. After I tighten down those connections, I'm just going to use some self-tappers to hold it in place here. Okay, here's the transfer switch I'm going to be using. It is a Eaton name brand 100 amp transfer switch. Now all of the power for my house is going to be going through this transfer switch. So you don't want to go with a cheap Amazon no-name transfer switch for this component. I'll leave a link to in the description to this transfer switch if you have a 100 amp service similar to me. So here I am using chase nipples and also a rigid lock nut here. So I use the chase nipple just to make sure I don't have any sharp edges for the wire to go
to rub on. They also have insulated chase nipples, which would probably be better, but this nipple is fairly smooth. So I'm putting a lock nut in between this transfer switch and my wire gutter just to leave an extra gap so the door to the transfer switch can open a little bit easier. Here I'm just adding on this 1.5" wire lock nut here. I was also able to use my knockout kit to knock these holes out. So next I'm going to be extending the grid conductors over onto the transfer switch. Now the grid terminals are going to land on the top lugs of this transfer switch. I could put them on the bottom, but I just decided to put them on the top because that's where I had my sticker. So if my switch is in the up position, I will be on grid. So now that I have grid connected into my transfer switch, I now need to connect my main electrical panel into the transfer switch. So we're going to be feeding these 2-gauge wires through this non-metallic conduit and into the top of my electrical panel, because my main feed from my electrical panel is coming from the top. So these are going to land right in the top lugs of my electrical panel here. So here I am connecting my red, my white neutral, and then also my black L1. So L1, L2, and neutral.
All right, one more step. I need to bring the red and the black here and tie into those center lugs.
So first I'm going to do the black. I'm just going to make sure I have everything proper length before I cut it and connect it into the terminal. And then I'm going to connect my red here as well.
All right, so I've got these two feeding into the top of my panel and these two coming from the grid. And so if I want to go to the grid, I just pull this handle up and it makes that connection there. And I could hook my solar generator or solar inverter output here. So if I want to go to solar, I feed from solar. So connected to the top or the bottom will determine what feeds the top of the panel. So those hook into the top of the panel. Now I have a neutral bar here. That's just one big neutral bus bar. So if you're feeding in from the top and you can connect your neutral in there or neutral in the bottom. Now I'm just going to feed my neutral. I'm just going to, instead of connecting the neutral onto that bus bar, I'm just going to connect it onto this bus bar. So my neutral is really just coming in and then going back out. Now I don't even really need this one. I could just have the neutral come straight down here, but that gets a little confusing for people sometimes when they see you know, power coming in and power coming out, but then no neutral. So I'm gonna have a neutral here and a neutral here feeding back. Okay, I've got that connected and this is ready to be turned on here. So it's actually in the off position. So I need to put a larger sticker here, but let's go ahead and try turning this on. So first we'll turn power onto the entire house. So now we have power coming into the distribution block and into the grid terminal. So if we turn this up, we should have the lights turn on here. Nice. So now we are running our entire house. The grid's coming through here and going through the bottom and running into the top right here. So I am going to get a solar inverter and I'm going to put it right here. So, and then the output of the inverter is going to land onto these bottom terminals, and I'm always going to have this in the bottom position. Now, if something goes wrong, say I'm out of town with the inverter, my wife can easily come over here and switch it back to exclusively the grid, but I'm always going to have it on solar. Now you might be wondering, how am I going to be running on solar all the time when the sun's not shining and the batteries get really low? Well, that's where this distribution block comes into play here, because I can distribute the grid over here to my all-in-one power system here. Now this is the one I'm going to be installing first,
And I'll be testing a whole bunch of different types of inverters here in future on the channel. But this has a grid connection here. So if your power gets low on your batteries, this will has an automatic transfer switch in here, and it'll like bypass. It'll send the grid as, you know, the output. And so instead of getting the output from your batteries and your solar, it'll send the output as grid power. And it does it seamlessly for you, so you can always be connected to this system. So that is what I'm going to be doing. And if for some reason there's like flooding and I can't be running on my batteries, I can easily switch this over up into grid. Or if I want to do maintenance on this system, say I want to switch out a different inverter, I can switch it back over to grid. Now, just because I'm on grid doesn't mean I can work on this inverter, because I've got to be careful, because remember, this is live even when I'm on grid, and so it's sending live grid power over to my inverter. So I need to be really careful with that. So I might get some plexiglass and put it over the top of this so I can't touch it. Or, you know, I think I might get a switch, put a switch right here, so when I connect my grid power, it'll go through this switch. And so when I'm working on this system, I can easily, you know, switch off the grid power, and I can work over here without having any live grid power. So that is how I am going to be hooking my solar power system up to run my house. So how would you do it? Do you have any suggestions or thoughts? I'd be open to hearing any feedback that you guys have. Thanks for watching my channel. I will leave some links here to what YouTube thinks you will like best next. But thanks a lot for watching, guys. We'll talk to you later.